when you saw
No,
yourself...
I argued for 30 years for this to happen.
Right.
And finally, I wore him down.
Harrison Ford is the face of Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and Jack Ryan. Yet behind that calm stare lies a fury the public rarely saw. At 82, he has no reason to hide it anymore. A list of actors who betrayed him, insulted him, or turned their backs when success was in their hands. The anger was so intense he smashed things in the studio, called co-stars idiots, walked away from multi-million-dollar projects, and swore never to share the screen with them again. Today, we'll uncover those feuds, and what you're about to hear will change the way you look at him. Number 1. Shia LaBeouf, the betrayal of Indiana Jones's son. Let's begin with the most explosive feud of all. Harrison Ford versus Shia LaBeouf. It happened during Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2007 to 2008 when Ford, already 65, returned to his iconic role. Shia, the rising star fresh from Transformers, was cast as his son, a decision that looked brilliant on paper but quickly soured on set. According to stunt coordinator Vic Armstrong, Ford treated scenes like precision engineering while Shia treated them as an emotional dig. And you know the result? Chaos. Ford hated the improvisations that wrecked his carefully timed beats. Crew members remembered him stopping takes, visibly frustrated. The breaking point came not on set, but after the movie's release. In 2010, Shia publicly trashed the film, telling reporters, "The actor's job is to make it work, and I couldn't do it, so that's my fault." But he went further, dragging Ford into it. We had major discussions. He wasn't happy with it either. For Ford, this was betrayal. In Details magazine, he shot back with the most brutal line of his career. "I think I told him he was a fing idiot." That's Harrison Ford at his most honest, cutting, final, and unforgiving. He explained that his duty was to protect the film, not destroy it in interviews. Since then, their paths have split completely. Shia spiraled into arrests, rehab, and scandals, while Ford returned for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny without his on-screen son. No reconciliation, no apology, just silence. Ford later summed it up with another dagger. "To bite the hand that feeds you, it's bulls." That tells you everything about where they stand today. Number 2. Tommy Lee Jones. Two wolves on The Fugitive. Harrison Ford couldn't stand Tommy Lee Jones. That's the blunt truth behind the 1993 blockbuster The Fugitive. While audiences were mesmerized by their on-screen cat-and-mouse chase, the reality behind the camera was nothing short of brutal. Ford's precision and control clashed violently with Jones's unpredictable, jazz-like improvisations, turning every scene into a silent battlefield. From the first day, the tension was obvious. Ford needed structure. Jones thrived on chaos. Director Andrew Davis later revealed Ford even feared being in his shadow. The tunnel confrontation scene made the feud impossible to hide. Jones switched lines mid-take, ruining Ford's timing. Heated discussions about professional courtesy followed, showing just how much Ford felt his craft was under attack. Crew members described the atmosphere as two wolves circling, never breaking eye contact. The hostility never exploded, but it hung in the air, cold, sharp, unrelenting. And when award season came, the cut went deeper. Jones walked away with an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Ford, who carried the movie's heart, was left with nothing. Davis admitted he was furious, calling Ford's performance his best role. Ford never forgot the slight. He refused to appear in the 1998 spin-off U.S. Marshals, distanced himself from the franchise, and never spoke warmly of Jones again. Respect remained, but it was laced with bitterness. Proof that even legends can't always share the same frame without tearing each other apart. Number 3. Sean Young. The love scene Ford couldn't stand. The so-called romance in Blade Runner was built on hate. Behind the camera in 1982, Harrison Ford and Sean Young despised working with each other, and it poisoned every frame of their supposed love story. What fans saw as cold, uneasy chemistry wasn't acting. It was the raw tension of two actors who could barely share the same space. Ford was drained from 50 nights of rain-soaked filming and wanted order. Young refused to break character, living as Rachel even off camera. Director Ridley Scott admitted she lived in character continuously, leaving Ford frustrated, never sure if he was speaking to the actress or the replicant. The so-called love scene became the breaking point. Cinematographer Jordan Cronenweth called it the most awkward professional chemistry I've ever witnessed, and crew members renamed it the hate scene. Ford later confessed that working with Young was like navigating a psychological minefield. Years later, Young added darker accusations, claiming Scott pressured her to date him, and that the scene itself felt like retaliation when she refused. True or not, Ford was trapped, forced to fake intimacy with someone he didn't trust. The wound never healed. Ford returned for Blade Runner 2049, but Young was replaced with a CGI double. They have never reconciled, never appeared together again. That coldness you felt in the film, it was real, and it never went away. Number 4, Julia Roberts. The chemistry that never existed. Hollywood dreamed of a romance between Harrison Ford and Julia Roberts, but Ford shut it down. From the very first rehearsal, Roberts poured on her trademark charm, but Ford stayed cold, distant, and unresponsive. Director Mike Nichols admitted it felt like two instruments playing in different keys, and the dream pairing quickly turned into a nightmare. Cinematographer Sven Nykvist remembered one crucial love scene collapsing into what he called the absence of chemistry, so profound it became fascinating to watch. Roberts grew frustrated, later confiding that Ford was emotionally unavailable, even in character. Ford was just as blunt. Years later, he said, "It felt like I was acting opposite a performance, not a person." That one line didn't just criticize her. It erased any possibility of working together. The project fell apart quietly. No premiere, no press release, just silence. Hollywood buried the failed romance, and the two stars have never worked together since. No red carpets, no photos, no polite reunions. A veteran producer summed it up perfectly. They never hated each other, but they sure didn't belong in the same frame. For Roberts, it was a humiliation. For Ford, it was proof that no studio power could force chemistry that simply wasn't there. Number 5, Kevin Costner. The Western that died in silence. Harrison Ford and Kevin Costner were supposed to ride together into a Western epic. Instead, they killed it before a single frame was shot. What should have been a landmark collaboration turned into a quiet war of egos and visions. Ford wanted a slow-burn character study about the psychological cost of killing. Costner demanded grandeur, endless skies, heroic arcs, mythic stakes. Producer Lawrence Kasdan put it bluntly. They were making completely different films while reading the same script. The tension escalated when both stars began submitting script revisions, each draft trimming the other man's role. Finally, Ford confronted Costner directly. "Do you even care about what this character is carrying? What he's lost?" Costner shot back. "You're trying to turn an epic into a therapy session." That exchange was the death sentence. No shouting, no walkouts, just silence, and then cancellation. The aftermath defined them both. Ford never touched another Western like it, steering clear of the genre. Costner doubled down, creating Open Range and later building Yellowstone into his personal empire. The two men have never worked together since, never shared a stage, and never spoken publicly about the collapse. For Hollywood, it was a lost dream. For Ford and Costner, it was a reminder that not all legends can ride side by side. Number 6, Brad Pitt. The Devil's Own war behind the camera. On paper, The Devil's Own, 1997, was a dream pairing, Harrison Ford and Brad Pitt in a tense thriller. In reality, it was a battle of control. Pitt had nurtured the story for years, shaping it as a nuanced tale of trauma and divided loyalties. Ford, stepping in as the veteran, refused to be sidelined. He pushed for rewrites that gave his cop more moral weight, later admitting, "Brad had a good part, and I wanted a complication on my side." That single confession revealed the heart of the conflict. Ford wanted balance. Pitt saw his vision slipping away. Crew members described the atmosphere as two captains steering the same ship in opposite directions. Ford argued for his point of view. Pitt resisted, and the script changed constantly. There were no explosions or shouting, just a cold war of silence. Ford later softened, calling Pitt a wonderful actor and a really decent guy. But the tension left scars. The two never reunited on screen. For fans, the film remains less a collaboration and more a monument to a behind-the-scenes war that neither man truly won. Number 7, Mel Gibson. The man Ford refused to stand beside. The deal was signed, the money was ready, and two action legends were about to join forces. Then Harrison Ford dropped the bomb. He would never work with Mel Gibson. One sentence behind closed doors killed the project instantly, and exposed just how deep Ford's disgust ran. Gibson's talent wasn't in question, but his behavior was. His off-screen scandals, from violent outbursts to anti-Semitic rants, made Ford draw a line that could not be crossed. What stunned executives most was Ford's bluntness. In a meeting, he reportedly declared, "I won't share a set with someone whose conduct repels the people I have to trust to do their jobs." For an industry used to politics and half-truths, it was shocking clarity. Gibson's presence, Ford believed, poisoned the working environment. Producers later admitted crew members were already refusing to sign on, fearing what would happen if Gibson was attached. Gibson, true to form, didn't apologize. Instead, years later, he fired back with a cryptic jab. "Some people are actors, some think they're saints. I don't answer to either." Everyone in Hollywood knew who he was talking about. But Ford didn't flinch. The project died. Gibson was left behind, and the two men have never been photographed together, never reconciled, never even exchanged public words since. And for Hollywood, it was a rare glimpse of Harrison Ford's uncompromising code, one that even Mel Gibson couldn't break. 7 rivalries, 7 moments where Harrison Ford refused to play nice. Which feud shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Since you made it this far, you probably enjoyed the video. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more untold stories behind Hollywood's brightest stars. See you in the next one.